G. Gordon, Liddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and joining me as my guest is Bob Gibbs. He is a member of the United States House of Representatives. He represents Ohio's 18th District. And Congressman, welcome to the program. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Good morning. Glad to be with you.
All right. Now, what do you make of this divide in the Democratic Party over these ads that the Obama campaign is putting out there, attacking the private equity firm Bain Capital, which Governor Romney, the presumptive nominee, once was, I think, the CEO of. Does he not understand that the role of private equity in our country?
Well, I don't think the president has a full understanding of how capitalism works, how businesses work, and he has this administration has piled on layers and layers of more onerous and costly regulations, higher, proposing and trying to put through higher taxes. And also, try to pick winners and losers in our economy. And, there's another bill that I signed on that Representative Scott DeGiulio has sponsored that to prohibit the administration from using tax dollars to advertise against American companies, American workers, for legal products that they're producing. And this is the soda pop, soft drink industry, and but you see it all across the board. You see it, where they picked spent $500 million of taxpayer money and went down the tubes from Solandra, trying to pick winners and losers in our economy. And we need to have public policy that encourages investment and let the free market system determine the winners and losers, and not government.
Well, amen to that, Congressman. But what they're doing, I noticed that there was a $33.5 million contract with the Ogilvy Public Relations Worldwide, including $17.9 million. This is all taxpayer money for a publicity center promoting HHS products. And then they had a $3.1 million for television ads, having Andy Griffith reassure seniors that Obamacare's guaranteed Medicare benefits will remain the same. I mean, all of this stuff is propaganda to promote various things, mostly, though, Obamacare. And those are taxpayer dollars. I mean, why are taxpayer dollars being used in the Obama campaign, or in any campaign for that matter?
Well, Gordon, you're absolutely right. This administration is using taxpayer dollars, and just like this, there was a $230 million in an initiative called the Communities Putting Prevention to Work, and we had locality cities doing things to advertise against, in this instance, the soft drink industry. And then also we had at least one instance, I think it was in Philadelphia, where they're using taxpayer dollars to promote tax increase on those beverages, and so it's across the board. This administration has been very divisive. They have their agenda, and they're using taxpayer dollars to promote their agenda, and I think a very unprecedented and probably an illegal way. But we're trying to stop that in the House. Of course, the Senate probably won't take up the legislation.
No, the Democratic-controlled Senate doesn't seem to want to do anything.
No, it's been really frustrating. We've got about 30 bills that we've sent over there in the last year or so that we've categorized as bills to improve the business climate here in the United States, and they're just growing moldy over there. The Senate doesn't even take them up, and it's bills to encourage our energy production. It's bills to common sense regulatory reforms and things like that to bring certainty out of Washington, D.C. to restore private sector confidence, both at the consumer level and the business level. And so we get our businesses, our entrepreneurs again investing in their businesses and growing their businesses. But right now, pretty much people are scared. They're just kind of going, hand to mouth. They're not doing long-term planning and long-term investment and hiring people. And it's frustrating because there's just so much uncertainty coming out of Washington, D.C. You don't know what's coming next. Higher taxes, more regulations, and an energy policy. There's a lack of an energy policy in this country to encourage the development of our resources in this country.
Well, Congressman, you were, as I understand it, were head of the Farm Bureau at one time in your state.
Yeah, I was president of the Ohio Farm Bureau back in the late 90s. I served on the Ohio Farm Bureau Board of Trustees for almost 20 years, from mid-80s to late 90s.
Well, you can certainly qualify as an agricultural expert.
I farmed for 30-plus years, too. That was my livelihood.
Wow. And you know that business. What do you make of all of these subsidies that are coming out, and the mandates for ethanol and to be put into fuel and so on?
Well, I think you're starting to see a weaning off that. There was 3: a tax credit and a mandate, and I guess what was the other one? A tariff. And the 2 of them are gone now, and the mandate's still on there. I think the long-term future of ethanol is feedstuffs other than just corn, and we're seeing the technology is improving where there'll be feedstuffs to ferment for ethanol production that won't necessarily compete as much as we've seen for corn does, but it has lowered our dependence on foreign energy somewhat. But I do think we've got other energy resources in this country too, and I'm really excited here. We've got the shale here in Ohio. That's called the Utica Shale. That's developing along with the other shale developments, and I think if we got serious about it, in a decade we could be energy independent if we develop these resources, and we can do it responsibly and protect the environment and create a lot of jobs and opportunities. And unfortunately, this administration, seems to want to put a lot of roadblocks up, barriers for moving forward. It makes it tougher for our entrepreneurs to develop these resources.
Yeah, well, what I see is something that doesn't make sense, and what that is, the administration complains and whines and snivels about the fact that we're dependent upon, quote, foreign oil, and yet they prohibit the production of our own oil resources.
Yeah, I think what's an important point to remember here, the president says that under his administration, oil and gas production has increased, and that's, not telling the story quite right. It's increased because on private and state lands, mainly because of the shale plays around the country, that we've increased production. But on federal lands, our production has dropped off, and we need to have the federal lands brought into play too, But I'm excited about what's happening in this domestic our energy resources. We have the potential to produce the energy in this country, along with Canada, North American energy. And I was really frustrated. The president won't approve the Keystone Pipeline, and he came down to Oklahoma there about 8 weeks ago now, probably, and said that he was going to approve, expedite that and move that process forward for Oklahoma and Texas. And in my committee, I asked Secretary Darcy, the Army Corps head of the Army Corps Civil Works, I said, have you talked to the company that does that? Yeah, we have. We told them they had to reapply for all their permits. And I said to her, well, what's your definition of expedite? Because to me, when you have to reapply for your permits and start the process over, that's a delay tactic. And so in one hand, the president's saying he wants to expedite the process, and then he's telling his regulators to, make them go through the process again. And that's very lengthy.
Boy, I'll tell you. Congressman Gibbs, we need to take a pause for a few minutes for the benefit of our advertisers. Can you stand by, or do you have to go?
No, I can stay on.